Why does the universe continue to give me support, guidance, and direction as I strive to not only be an okay father, but to be an excellent father? Hey, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. This is the Christmas Eve edition of the ABCs of Relationships. I'm your host, Earl McCray with Real Relief Consulting. We are revitalizing the community, one overworked, underpaid, underappreciated professional at a time. And let's talk about it. Hey guys, in this Christmas Eve edition, I want to talk about, we're up to the letter P, are you parenting your child or are you pacifying your child? And this discussion may be a little polarizing. And it's not my intent to step on any toes, but it is my goal to encourage, inspire, and just pour into you good friends some of the life lessons that I've seen others make and pick up over the years, and I've experienced over my short 52 years. So, I've had the blessing of having my children home over the holiday. Man, I love them. We love them to death, but it's empty. It's different when you go from being an empty nester and then having everything in order, and then having your tribe back home and everything is not in order. So we're making the adjustment. Some of you guys can probably teach me a few things on that. But my son, he has his video game and he's playing, and we got another TV in the other room, and we're watching the football game. So we got two TVs going on, and it's all good. We're enjoying it. We remember how chaotic it used to be when they were little, and it was a little bit of nostalgia. But this video game he's playing. And at one point, because I'm watching the football game, I'm looking over at the video game. This guy is basically in an automobile. He's crashing it up. He crashes his automobile, y'all. He stops the automobile. He gets out. Cars are behind him. The car that's behind him, he basically carjacks the car that was behind him. I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. Yeah, I know it's a game. And then the football game, someone scores. I divert my attention, and I look back, and then the same game, the guy is now beating up people. And it's at that point, I turned off the game. And I said, son, tell me a little bit more about what you're doing. So he proceeds to give me the backstory of the game. And then I said, well, what am I going to do? Am I going to use this as a teachable moment and parent? Or am I just going to pacify him and, like I said, hey, son, enjoy the game? Obviously, I've been teaching for way too long to turn it off. I said, well, son, and we just kind of get into the conversations of making it a point to know that there's so many examples of people who watch entertainment and they take it too far. They think entertainment is reality. But because my son is very smart, he kind of prefaces everything, says, Dad, I know what you're going to say before you say it. All right. And so, although that didn't stop the lesson, the teachable moment from coming, it did shorten it probably about 5 minutes. Because my kids know, because me and my wife, we've invested a lot of time into parenting. It takes me into another story that I was telling my son later in the evening. I was talking about relationships. And I was explaining to him that there's three types of relationships. One actually begins with a P, so it kind of works with the theme for today. Some relationships are like wine. Some are like milk, and some are like poison. And by that, what I mean is this. Over time, some relationships get better. I have a 40 plus year relationship with my best friend, and I'm in New York, upstate, and he's down in New Orleans. But the relationship has gotten better over time. I said some relationships are like milk. They start out really sweet tasting, but as time moves forward, they go bad. Milk relationships happen to everybody. Milk spoils, milk sours. Especially if you don't nurture and cultivate and refrigerate that relationship, it's gonna be like milk, it's gonna go bad. I said, but what you gotta watch out for is the relationships that are poison. They were toxic from the giddy up. But so often when we're younger, and young is not a state of body, it's a state of mind. When we are younger, when we don't quite know who we are, and our self-approval is dependent on others, speaking to me, because that's where I used to be about 150 pounds ago, when our self-approval is more rooted in what others think of us and less what we think of ourselves, things go bad quick. They go bad quickly. And so in poison relationships, y'all, we know they're not good, but we're trying to feel better about ourselves, so we hang in there. And I'm not sure who I'm speaking to, who may be in that relationship right now, where it's been bad for a long time. In fact, it's really never been good, but it's been convenient. And sometimes convenience has a shelf life that expires very quickly. So there's a lot of support groups out there. If you're in a poison relationship, an abusive relationship, a relationship where they put you down in order to raise themselves up, seek help. 311-411, a caring adult. A lot of the times when I'm unpacking things within my academy, it has to do with relationships that people knew were poison for way, way too long, but they never took action. And I'm going to leave you with this one thought. It's kind of a story that I've heard many, many really good speakers use, so I've adopted it. There was a farmer. Farmer had a dog. The farmer got a visitor once, and the visitor and the farmer are on the porch drinking some lemonade, just talking about life, talking about, things that, older people talk about in that next season of life. And the dog is on the porch, and the dog's moaning. And then the visitor asked, Farmer so-and-so, what's wrong with the dog? He said, well, he's laying on a nail. And so the visitor continues the lemonade, continues the conversation. He says, well, if he's laying on a nail, I don't get it. He's in pain. What's going on? Oh, he says, well, the farmer explains. He's laying on the nail. It's true, but it's just not painful enough for him to get up. And so, good friends, the story is many of us are in poison relationships, and we know they're bad, but it don't hurt enough. We have not hit rock bottom. We're not deep enough for us to say enough is enough. I would encourage you, don't be that dog laying on a nail. If you're in pain, take action, be decisive, and look forward. Don't look backwards. Take care. God bless. Enjoy your Christmas Eve edition of the ABCs of Relationships.